Most people don't realize that their hip flexors and diaphragm share a very important connection, and tightness in one area can influence tightness in the other significantly. Here's why and what you can do about it. Your psoas, your main hip flexor muscle, shares an important fascial connection with your diaphragm, and you can see how these two things are pretty closely connected. If your hip flexor muscles are in a shortened and tight position pulling your pelvis forward, this can have a significant influence on your diaphragm. Or if your diaphragm is in a compromised dysfunctional state, this can have an influence on the tightness of your hip flexors. The most common thing that I see is that the diaphragm is in a dysfunctional state to some extent, meaning that it is in a tightened position where it is descended, because as we inhale, the diaphragm should descend. As we exhale, it should ascend. But it's stuck in this descended position, and this is a contracted position. When the diaphragm's in a contracted position all the time, the rib cage and body is in the state of inflation. So the ribs are flared out like this and opened up. This is going to have an influence on that fascial chain, pulling the pelvis forward and tightening the hip flexors with it. I see a lot of people get relief from tight hip flexors when they get their diaphragm muscle to relax and learn how to get into an actually fully ascended state again. What this requires is us learning how to exhale, because look at what that did. That brings the rib cage down and that tilts the pelvis relatively back and helps relax everything in that fascial chain. Here's a great starting exercise I like to do with an emphasis on the breathing component that will help us better relax the diaphragm and the hip flexors. So sit in this short-seated position, raised up off of the ground on a couple of books or something a few inches tall. It'll just make it more comfortable for most people. Make sure your feet are flat on the ground and your mid-back is up against the wall and your forearms are resting on your knees. Now, here's the most important key you need to get. You want to make sure that you can reach your shoulder blades away from your spine without slouching or leaning forward like this. You want to feel that separation between the shoulder blades and spine as the rib cage pushes back without doing this. If you do that right, you're going to feel a little stretch in between your shoulder blades and spine without your upper trap muscles engaging. Now here's the key. Get a nice full sighing exhale with an open mouth and relaxed jaw like this for about 5 to 10 seconds. At the end of that exhale, you're going to feel your side abs engage on both sides. Pause, close your mouth after that full exhale. Pause for at least 2 to 4 seconds as you keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Then as you inhale very silently but fully through your nose, make sure you maintain that slight side ab tension that you got. And as you inhale silently without using your neck, you're going to feel your back expand with air, and it should feel really nice.